You know, we've just engaged in a process called theory of change, really trying to be able to evaluate our work and how effective we've been. And so we've really looked at our work in a slightly different way. And so we wanted to figure out what are the 8 or so areas that we think we can hold ourselves accountable for that really help to create a healthy community. Clearly, when we began thinking about that, we had a list of about 30 indicators. Obviously, a small organization like ours can't be held accountable to do work that broadly. So we were able to get it down to around 8 areas. So in thinking about developing a healthy, safe community that we can be held accountable to, we developed 8 indicators. Ambient air quality, improving ambient air quality, improving indoor air quality in housing, getting a handle on pests and pesticide use in our local neighborhoods, opening up access to open and green spaces, getting a handle on waste management, solid waste management, and ways we can reduce waste and increase recycling. Also looking at access to non-toxic products. So chemical policy reform at our State House and in Congress is an issue that's galvanizing a lot of attention right now. The issue of toxics and phthalates in consumer products and cosmetics. The fact that we have 99-cent stores where you can still buy banned pesticides and products that are just chemical toxic bombs. So that's, again, an important issue for us. Food security. The fact that we have an obesity epidemic in this country, and certainly in lower income communities, yet we can't find good, organic foods and fruits and vegetables. Instead, what we have is just a sea of fast foods that are certainly contributing to that obesity epidemic. So we're focusing on the quality of school foods and trying to get the city to purchase foods from local farms and have a better quality of food in our schools. Indoor air quality, again, is so important because in New York City, over 80% of residents live in rental housing. That means they cannot control that indoor air environment. And so working to get landlords and the city to hold landlords more accountable around lead poisoning and around other kinds of indoor air triggers that exacerbate respiratory disease is very, very important. Improving air quality. That's been an area in which we've really focused our work from the very beginning, from day one, when we were just a small volunteer organization organizing community residents to get a sewage treatment plant working correctly, working so that emissions and odors weren't making people in this community sick. And that's really how we got started. Working on that very one issue to ensure that this community was not experiencing that kind of burden. So the nexus between air quality and asthma and respiratory disease has been a very important one for us. We also understand that Manhattan is a non-attainment area for clean air standards. So already we were starting starting with an environment that was not a clean air environment. And then when we understood that we were home to over 1/3 of the city's diesel bus fleet, which is the largest in the country, then you begin to understand why air quality was our #1 focus and has been for so long. So improving air quality has meant many things. It's meant an 18-year campaign to get the Metropolitan Transit Authority to invest in alternative fuel buses, to use diesel retrofits, to phase in ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel even before the EPA required it. Many of those kinds of policy changes have really made a difference in cleaning the air in this community. We spent the last 10 years working to bring a waterfront park to this community. Waterfront activism has been going on in Manhattan and New York City over the last 10 years. And we were one of the only communities in Manhattan, right along the beautiful Hudson River, that didn't really have access to that river. We had our piers falling down, they were deteriorated. Our waterfront was a parking lot for Fairway grocery store. And so after so many different plans that had come about for the waterfront, plans that really didn't include the community, we decided as an organization that we should really focus on bringing a waterfront park and organizing the community to develop a vision for that space. Just about the same time we decided to do that, the city decided to let a RFP, a request for proposals, for developers to come and develop our waterfront. And two of the key proposals were a hotel and a motel. And of course, we knew that that would privatize our waterfront. And we were a little, at the same time we got money to start a community process, we found out the city wanted to put a hotel there. And so we were a little disappointed, and we were like, well, should we go ahead? And we said, let's push ahead because we may be able to change their minds. So we pushed ahead with the community process. We got the city to wait to see what our process was going to yield. And we came out with a beautiful process. And I think they understood that we were helping to galvanize and mobilize the community and create consensus, not only between the community and elected officials and a broad range of stakeholders, but really create a consensus that would make the city's job easier. And so we were able to convince them that we had a great plan. Really, the Harlem Piers was the missing link in an esplanade, a waterfront esplanade that went from Battery Park at the tip of Manhattan all the way to northern Manhattan. And so when you rode your bike or wanted just to walk along the riverfront, at 125th Street, everything cut off. And so we were actually creating a service for all of Manhattan by having this 1 acre park and piers rebuilt. So now you can continue all along that path from the tip to the top of Manhattan. And it's a wonderful community resource. So open space and access to open space was one of the first environmental benefits that this community had.